Hello, boys and girls. I'm so excited to be with you today. My name is Miss Grace Frank, and I'm a student at Lindsey Wilson College. And this is a picture of me and my family and the trip we recently took to the Smoky Mountains. So today we are going to be going over the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. And with this book, we are going to be studying sequencing of events. Our standard today is, of course, a first grade standard. And the I can statement is, I can describe characters, settings, and major events in a story. So, to begin, you are going to listen to me read this book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. After that, we are going to be watching the YouTube video over sequencing of events. And we're going to think back to our story and how events in our story can be organized. And then we are going to talk a little bit more about sequencing of events. And at the end, you'll get to make your very own flipbook about sequencing, okay? All right. Okay, boys and girls, so please follow along on your screen as we read the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. This book is written by Laura Numeroff, and it's illustrated by Felicia Bond. If you give a mouse a cookie, then the mouse will ask for a glass of milk. When you give the mouse the milk, he will ask for a straw. When the mouse is finished, he will ask for a napkin. The mouse will want to look in a mirror to see if he has the milk mustache. When the mouse looks in the mirror, the mouse will see his hair needs a trim. So, boys and girls, what do you think he's going to ask for next? If he thinks his hair needs a trim? Let's see if you're right. After the mouse trims his hair, the mouse will want a broom. So he needed scissors to trim his hair, right? The mouse might sweep every room in the house. The mouse will want to take a nap. You will have to find him a little box with a blanket and a pillow. The mouse will make himself comfortable and ask you to read a story. He will ask to see the picture and will want to draw. The mouse will draw with crayons and paper. When the picture is finished, the mouse will want to sign his name with a pen. The mouse will want to hang his picture on the refrigerator, so the mouse will ask for tape. The mouse will hang up his picture and look at it. The mouse will remember that he is thirsty and ask for a glass of milk. With the glass of milk, he will want a cookie. The end. I hope you all enjoyed that story. It's one of my favorites. You just never know what that little mouse is going to get into. So now let's watch this video together about sequence of events. And I want you to pay close attention and think about how this video could relate to our story. Okay, boys and girls, so let's talk a little bit more about sequencing. To begin, sequencing is putting things in order. Okay, that word order is very important. The order of events in a story is sequence. So to break it down, sequencing is just about telling the story the way it happened, in the order it happened. It wouldn't make sense to start at the end and then tell what happened in the beginning and then tell what happened in the middle. Your readers would be very, very confused. So sequencing is putting things in order and the order of events in a story. So here's what we usually go by. We start with first, this happened. Next, this happened. Then, this happened. And finally, this happened. So one way to organize our thoughts when sequencing is in these boxes. So you've got your boxes going up and down right here, and your boxes going side to side. So either one is a great way to organize your thoughts. And let's look at the bottom here. Look at our clue words. Some clue words to know when we're talking about sequencing or to use when talking about sequencing are first, next, then, finally, before, after, later, at last, afterward, eventually, meanwhile, and the next day. So these words are just like clue words that say, oh, we are about to hear what's going to happen next. This is sequencing. Okay? So let's think back to our story, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. We are going to try to organize just a few of our thoughts and sequence the events that happened in the story. So I want everyone to look at this first box right here. Look at that first box. What is the very first thing that happened in our story? What did the mouse want first? If you said a cookie, you would be correct. All right. And let's think, what happened after that? Oops. So the first thing the mouse wanted was a cookie. And let's think back to our story using one of our key words, one of our clue words. What happened next? If you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. If you said milk, you are correct. And what happened after that? There's another one of our keywords, after. If you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk. If you give him the milk, he's going to want what? He's going to ask for a straw. You said straw, you are correct. And finally, when he's finished, what will he need? What happened after that? He asked for a napkin. Very good. All right. All right, boys and girls, one of our first activities is sequence of events. We're going to put the events in order that they happened in the story. So listen very closely for these directions. You should have been given a copy of this Google slide. So I need you to open that Google slide and go to this slide right here that says sequence of events. Put them in order. So what you're going to do, you're going to drag each of these pictures and put them in the correct order. Okay, whether it goes there, here. Okay, put them in the correct order. So of course you would start with number 1. What comes first? What comes next? After that, when you get all your pictures in order in those circles, I want you to, we'll go to the next slide and we'll check them, okay? So right now, I need you to pause this video, go to that Google presentation, the Google slide that is shared with you, and put these events in order, okay? All right, hopefully you've had time to go back and put all of these events in order, in the correct order that they happened in our story. So now we are going to check those. All right, so here is our answer key. So first, here's what happened first. The mouse wanted a cookie. After he asked for that cookie, this happened second. He asked for a glass of milk. And after he asked for the milk, he wanted to look in the mirror to make sure he didn't have a milk mustache. And boys and girls, what happened when he looked in that mirror? He needed a trim. And after he realized he needed a trim, he got his hair all over the floor, so he needed a broom to clean it up. And after that, he was very tired from working so hard, so he needed to take a nap. Whoops. And after that, he wanted the little boy to read a story to him. So the little boy read a story, and he realized he wanted to draw a picture just like in the story. And finally, he wanted to hang his picture on the fridge. So that was the last event that happened. Okay, I hope you got these correct. If not, you can read the book again and try to put these events in order. Okay? Now, boys and girls, it is time to show what you know. I want you to show me what all you've learned today by creating your own flip book. Okay, so to do this, I need you to get a piece of paper and fold it horizontally. After you fold it, you need to cut the top into 3 equal sections. Just cut the top fold, do not cut the bottom fold, okay? In each section, come up with your own sequence of events for a mouse. On the top flaps, write if you give a mouse a blank, and under each flap, write he is going to want a blank, and draw pictures on the front and bottom flaps. I've got an example to show you, but I want you to come up with your own, okay? Try not to use my examples. I want you to come up with your own. So here's the one I made, and my first flap says, if you give a mouse a blanket, what do y'all think he's going to want if you give him a blanket? We'll look at the next slide in just a minute. That'll tell us. And if you give a mouse an outfit, and if you give a mouse a ball. So let's look here. If you give a mouse a blanket, he's going to want a bed. And if you give a mouse an outfit, he's going to want shoes. And if you give a mouse a ball, he's going to want a bat. Okay? So these are just sequencing of events, putting events in order that I want you to practice on your own. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your attendance, and I hope you learned a little bit more about sequencing.